Hey folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and I'm filling in for Randy Brown of Thunderhorse Descendant with working on our Missing Link series while she is in North Dakota on a family emergency. So hopefully that will turn out all right. Prayers being sent. But anyway, what we're going to work on today is this will be our 15th episode of the Missing Link book, and we're going to work on the Tangled Triangles. So let's turn down and we'll see what we need. Okay, here we are on our Tangled Triangles page. It is page 48 and 49 if you wish to follow along. And it states what we'll need is 7 inches of 18 gauge wide sterling silver dead soft wire. Well, that's not what we're going to use because I don't have any sterling silver wire, and I really like to use artistic wire. So here's the 18 gauge artistic wire. And then 9 inches of 22 gauge sterling silver half hard wire. Again, like I say, I do not have sterling silver. We'll be using a regular German style wire, and this is my spool of 22 gauge. So we'll cut those in just a moment. And then for the tools, we need chain nose pliers. So here are my chain nose pliers. In case you folks don't recognize these, we got these from Randy. Flat nose pliers. Here's my flat nose. Flush cutters. Rawhide mallet. I use a nylon mallet rather than a rawhide. A steel bench block. A Sharpie. And then it says liver of sulfur, steel wool, and rotary tumbler. I am not going to use any of those items as I don't like liver of sulfur. It really stinks badly. And I don't have a rotary tumbler. Also, if you do choose to use steel wool, be very careful with this. I used to work in a warehouse and we had somebody cut themselves badly on steel wool, because it usually comes in some kind of a roll, and if you try and rip those off with your bare hands, it will go right through your hands. So if you do decide to use steel wool, do make sure you cut it with a pair of scissors as opposed to trying to pull it loose. And then the last thing is a ruler. So we have all of our tools here, so let's put those back aside and let's go over to the instructions. So according to the instructions, figure 1, we want to mark the 18 gauge wire 5/8 from one end and again 5/8 from the first mark. So let's get our wire cut. That's the one we want 7 inches of, and then we'll mark those. So here's our wire, our cutters, and our ruler. So we want 7 inches of this. Now this has a triangle, so I'm going to cut this off. Okay. We want 7 inches. So right here. Right at the end, right there. Check and make sure we got 7. Oop, come on, don't bend on me. Yeah, we're a teeny bit off, but I think, well, we're 1/4 of an inch off, so let's cut a new piece. So we're going to get our wire cut here. It's our, we're going to cut this little nubby off the end here. And then we'll straighten this and see how much we have over here. So 7 is right here. So then it said 5/8, correct? So let's see. Mark the 18 gauge wire 5/8 from one end and again 5/8 from the first mark. Okay, so we get our Sharpie out and 5/8 from the end and then 5/8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, well, I made a mark where that was, so that wasn't hard to find. Okay, so now that we've marked our 5/8 and 5/8, let's see what our next instruction is. Figure 2. With flat nose pliers, bend the wire up 60 degrees at the first mark, pressing firmly against the edge of the pliers. Bend the wire again at the second mark, creating a triangle. Okay. So here's our flat nose pliers. And we want to bend 60 degrees. And then again, until we form a triangle. Oop, come on, babe. Bend to form our triangle. Okay. Triangle made. Let's go to step 3. Repeat steps 2 more times, making a total of 3 triangle shapes, one on top of the other. Trim the wire in the corner of the triangle so that both ends meet exactly. Okay, so we repeat it and just do 2 more triangles. Okay, so we would want to grab here and bring over. Grab here. Nope, we want to, I guess we want to grab right here. Bring it over. And here. Over. And one more time, I guess. We want to make it, they said 2 times. So one more. 1, 2, 3, and okay, I guess this is where we want to cut it so that this is right here. Okay, so we'll get the flush cutters out, and now I don't have these triangles exactly perfect, so we can straighten them up some. And then we want to make sure this is in the right place before we cut that baby off. So looks like we could have had just a little bit less, maybe an inch. Let's see. Yeah, that was an extra inch there that we had. Oh, look at my triangles are trying to go wobbly. We'll just have to straighten those up some. Let's see what our next step is. So now that we have trimmed the wire in the corner so both cut ends meet exactly. Okay, now use the rawhide mallet on the bench block. Hammer the triangles to compress the wires. The parallel sides will shift slightly. Hold the piece firmly to maintain its triangle shape while hammering. Reshape if needed. I'm not sure how we want to hold this because it's likely to squish our fingers, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, so get the bench block out Now, because we're doing this on camera, I have the bench block in the middle of my table, but if I wasn't doing it on camera, I would be over to the side, over to the, over one of the legs of my desk, because that was the way I was taught to do it. Apparently, it keeps the desk from bouncing so much, and you have a more stable platform. So let's squish this baby. And that one angle is coming out. We're going to have to straighten those up. Does it say how much we should hit it? Hammer the triangles to compress the wires. The parallel lines will shift. Hold the piece firmly to maintain its triangle. Okay, it doesn't really say, so we just, I guess we'll just, I assume we're just work hardening here. And since that's the case, we will put things up now and straighten these back out again. So let's get our pliers here and try and see if I can get these back into a better triangle shape here again. Huh. That's weird. That one went underneath. Pull you out of there. There we go. Let's even that down some more again. Okay, now that we have it more of a, well, it did say compress it, didn't it? I think it wants it sort of half squished, but that's all right. Okay, so let's go see what our next step is. Leaving a 1/2 inch tail, begin wrapping the 22 gauge wire around the triangles. Use the chain nose pliers to pull the wire tightly around the triangle frame, making sure to wrap around and cover the cut ends of the 18 gauge wire. Trim the excess wire on the inside of the link and press down the cut ends with the chain nose pliers. Okay, so it wanted 9 inches of the 22, so let's get that cut and then we will start wrapping. Okay, so my 9 inches, okay, over here. Inches. Ooh, you're being a pain. Okay, so right here. Now I don't mind if I have a little extra because it's easier to work with a little extra as a little too much little. So we'll cut that about right here. See what we end up with. I put that inch of wire there. And I have a little bit extra. It looks like about 9 1/4, but that's perfectly fine. Like I said, better to have too much than not enough. Okay. Now it said, leaving a 1/2 inch tail, begin wrapping the 22 gauge around the triangles. So we'll leave a 1/2 inch to a little bit more tail than that. And then, do we want to be tight? No, a couple of loops and then. Now when I'm beading wire through, I tend to keep my finger here so that when the loop comes around, it doesn't kink as easily. So let's just pull my finger out then, and it says to use your pliers to tighten it, which you definitely can do. I don't do that very frequently, but I do if it gets really loose. Where did you go? Oh, there you are. Okay. Now these look sort of messy in the picture, which sort of bothers me because I'm not a messy worker. I like to have things pretty straightforward and neat, but you know, it's not like I can't make messy. I just don't usually. And these are just like wrapped wherever, so I guess we'll just wrap wherever. Now, if your loops are loose, go ahead and pull them with your pliers. Try and get the end of your wire though, because your pliers will mar your wire up. Now we're heading towards those breaks where they told us to try and put more wire over the top of them so that they would, come on, baby. So you could disguise them some or hide them or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to push this one over here. I like a couple of close ones, and that one didn't have any close on that side, so. Okay. Let's see, where's that break? Oh, it's right underneath my wire here. Okay. Now we want to get the other break, which is on the other side here. Come on, you. Now I'm going to come down so we're closer to our other one here. So that we can wrap another time into here before we clip our wire off. Nice. Trim the excess 22 gauge wire on the inside of the link and press down the cut nose with your chain nose pliers. Okay, so we want to cut these inside. So I'm going to get right in here and cut right there. And then we're going to cut this one in a little bit of excess so that we can push it into the middle. Okay. Now let's get our chain nose pliers. Where did I put my chain nose pliers? There you go. And push that around and in. And I actually think I may have cut that. Oh, it's right there. Okay. Oops. Come on. Oh, there's the other side. Okay. There's our little link. Looks like I could have wrapped a little more on this side, but it's not critical because, like I say, the picture had it all over the place. So let's see what our next step is. If we have a next step, it's probably the oxidizing. Yep, oxidize with liver of sulfur and buff the excess oxidation off with steel wool. Tumble to work, harden, and polish. We are not going to do that step. I don't care for that step. So as you can see, our link's pretty close. Looks like I have one slightly shorter side. So you might want to be careful when you're bending yours. And then I might have wanted to put a little bit more wire on the other sides, which I didn't, where we weren't ending. So I could have used like maybe one more loop over here on this side. But there we go. One cute little triangular link. Okay, there we are with our link, the triangular link from our missing link book on page 49. Again, this Tangled Triangles. As you can see, it's pretty close to the picture. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Hope you have fun trying these yourself. They're great. And it's really fun learning these new links. Anyway, I think so. I have done quite a few of them and used them in various projects, and I think they are lots of fun. So anyway, again, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, substituting for Randy Brown from In Thunderhorse Descendant, while she takes time off for a family emergency. And we are hoping for the best for her and her family, and we will see her next week, I'm sure. And if not, well, then I will see you next week. Bye-bye.